In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in black and white emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we are coloring conversations on America's canvas. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We've got Mr. Terrell Sarver as our guest. Terrell Sarver, founder and CEO of B-Men Incorporated, was born, raised, and resides in Indianapolis, Indiana, and is the oldest of 5 siblings. Terrell is father of 4 children, Kirsty, Justice, London, and Riley. Terrell attends Life Restoration Church, where he is an active ordained elder and is currently pursuing a degree in ministry leadership at Advanced Ministry Institute. Terrell owns and operates a commercial financing firm located in Indianapolis, specializing in lending money to small businesses and startups, real estate financing, church financing, unsecured and secured business lines of credit, and working capital. Terrell has several certifications: foreclosure, first-time home buyer, credit education, and financial literacy. Terrell has an ebook titled Be Your Own Credit Counselor, also a licensed loan officer. Terrell is very proud to present his formed, powerful stories of 7 men changed by the hand of God. God has given me an assignment, and that assignment is for every man to see that they have a purpose in life, to validate their voice as men, and to exemplify transparency, inspiration, and to educate men to be men. Their lives matter. No matter what mistakes they have made in the past, God still has a plan for their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Terrell Sarver.
How's everybody doing today?
Welcome to the show, sir.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing just excellent. Is there anything you'd like to add to your bio before we get into the show?
No, man, you kind of covered it all, man. You did a good job on that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I definitely appreciate you. And, so as we get into the show, I want to thank you for actually taking the time and, being a guest. It just means so much as to what the platform is.
Yes, sir.
And, when we have great inspirational people like yourself, it really does make a difference.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I deem it an honor and a privilege for you even asking me to be on the show. We didn't know each other, but you saw my profile on LinkedIn, and so you so gracefully reached out. So I appreciate that, man. So the least I could do was show up.
Yes, sir. So what we're gonna do as we start out, let's get into your entrepreneurial spirit here. Can you tell us what inspired your journey into entrepreneurship?
Oh wow, that's crazy, right? So it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short as possible. So I was literally forced into entrepreneurship. I always worked as a loan officer. Been doing that for 20 plus years, but when the market crashed in 2008, it was kind of hard for me to actually get back into the corporate world because I had a small blemish on my background profile at the time. But I fought hard to get that blemish reduced and actually removed off of my profile. But it took a minute to do so. But during that time, I was newly married at the time. So I had a lot of pressure on me to be in a position to provide. So so I said, you know what, since it's hard for me to get back into corporate America right now due to my process, I'm going to go ahead and start my own consulting company. So that's what I did. And I did that based off of all the certifications and the licensings that I currently hold. I had that was the beginning of my process back then. And I was able to use those certifications and that training that I was able to get and actually consult people one-on-one. And that's how I actually became an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Was it, see, that's an actual interesting journey from the start anyway, because with the market crash like it did in 2008, and knowing that, then that that administration of Obama that came in and the work that they had to do in order to try to right that ship. I know that was a lot because I know in the mortgage industry in particular, there were like many states that really suffered from that, and I know California, and I remember that company Countrywide,
Countrywide was
with
the
all
main.
the bad loans.
Yes, sir. Countrywide was one of the main lenders. I actually Indiana, because I reside in Indiana. Indiana was actually number one in foreclosures.
Wow.
During that time, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then that's funny too, right? Because one of the things that I did too, because of the certifications and stuff that I was able to get, I was actually able to go into or perform with a consulting service, was actually be able to do loan modifications.
Okay.
So that's where people were actually trying to keep their home, but was going through a foreclosure process. So that was the time when the government was giving out grants to non-for-profit organizations to actually consult with those clients, also help them with the paperwork, because a lot of people were losing their homes or couldn't get modifications approved because the paperwork wasn't completed successfully. So one of the jobs, and then a lot of people were ignorant to the laws in their particular states concerning foreclosure. So one of the things that we did was hold weekly seminars to educate people on the foreclosure process. In Indiana is a judicial state, which means the homeowner has to be notified, but also give them an opportunity to go through a process. There's a foreclosure process that the homeowner had to go through and the lender had to go through in order for it to be a legitimate foreclosure. So during that time span, we had enough time to educate the client, get them in front of us, help them complete the paperwork, and then get those loans modified.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, well, I tell you, it sounds like that was kind of timely for you.
It was, because it put me on another level. Because when I started out doing mortgages back in 2003, I was my job was just to originate. It wasn't to really educate, of course, try to give them the best deal possible. But it wasn't, to sit down with people and educate them and consult them and all that. We just did what they wanted us to do, right? And then that's how we got paid. But as I was going through the process, the older and experience I got in the mortgage industry, I did realize that it was my job to take the time out to consult my client. And so what that was doing was putting me in a position, preparing me for my own consulting company. I just didn't even know it at the time. So I take pride. So now I take pride in everything when I do when it comes to sitting down and consulting with a client. And I try to give them the best options and the best plan that I can based on the information that they have provided for me at that time. And so I'm able to do that with my mortgage company now, and also with my ministry. I get an opportunity to do that. I get an opportunity to do that in one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about empowering people, but giving them the correct information or the right information that they need to get empowered. And that's how we advance the kingdom. That's how we advance our own individual lives and the people that are around us, by just sharing information with people. That makes sense?
It does, most definitely. So what was the first business idea you ever pursued, and what did you learn from it?
It was a consulting company. So I had a consulting company. It was called TLS Consulting. And we consulted on first-time home buyer, foreclosure, first foreclosure, post-purchase counseling, credit, financial literacy, and credit education. So we did all that. And what I learned from it is that being your own boss is very rewarding, but at the same time, you have to prepare yourself for it. I didn't get a chance to prepare myself for it the way that I wanted to, because I was forced into something that I had to react to something because I was dealing with this. I had to react and kind of go into something head on, right? Without counting the costs and, you know, and all that. But I kind of made sure in the beginning that my business was turnkey, right? And so, you know what I'm saying, the main thing was to educate and provide documentation, you know, pamphlets, whatever it needs to empower the client, but to win their business. So it was kind of like similar, you know, like the turnkey. But what hurt me the most was the just the mistakes that I made when it came to my back office, you know, tax credits and, you know, just, you know, all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it was never the front end, just the back end stuff that I wasn't too prepared for. So I made a lot of mistakes during that time, but we learned from those things and we keep it moving.
Well, you know, again, so again, that's just like really within the realms of what people are told about entrepreneurship anyway. So it's like in the beginning, you know, there are going to be those struggles. You know, they normally say, well, at least according to some old standards, like, you know, like there's like this 5-year period before you actually start to see yourself growing and flowing.
Correct.
And so, like in that point, just when you looked at where you were from an entrepreneurial perspective, you know, where did you stand, and how was it that your discipline put you to the point of where you are right now?
Well, I had a purpose right behind everything that I did, and that was my family. That was to provide for my family and be and to be the provider, you know, for my family, you know what I'm saying, and secure our household. That was my main focus. That was my motivation. That was the only thing I needed at the time, you know what I'm saying, because my family was dependent on me. I have all girls. It was all girls in the house with me and my wife, and then I had 3 girls. I had 3 girls, so they were all dependent on me. And then I'm going through this transition and, you know, having to reinvent myself, because I had to literally go out and reinvent myself, you know, simply because I was going an entrepreneur, but also with this blemish that I had following me too. You know, we praise God now that it's not affecting me now, but early on in my career, as far as the transitioning part, it was a hindrance. It was a real hindrance.
Let me ask you this, because, you know, again, I think there's one thing that pops into play that I think, you know, our audience really need to get an understanding of. You know, as you mentioned, you say you had a blemish on your record. You know, there was the blowout of 2008 in the mortgage industry and so forth. Being a Black man and being a Black entrepreneur, what do you think were the differences that brought you to where you are right now?
The difference between, who am I comparing the differences to?
Well, that is compared to the industry itself and what it looked like and how you fit in and where you had to go and you had to fend for yourself.
No, that's great. So yes, because now that's a great question, because it wasn't too hard for me to transition from corporate to being my entrepreneur, because first of all, I was trained and brought into an industry by a man, about a Black man. So this Black man actually taught me how to run a business inside a business, right? You know what I'm saying? So he taught me the ins and outs when it came to mortgages, the whole 9. So I had the best training that I needed about my work itself, but also how to be an entrepreneur inside of a business, but also the backing, you know, be able to, you know, call someone and get help if I needed, as far as wisdom on how I should approach things. So I was well prepared to go out into the ocean when it came to entrepreneur, because of who I was under, who was my covering, who was teaching me. So I was prepared for that, even though I didn't see it at the time. But now that you bring that up, it's very clear to me now that God ordered my steps, because I was with a brother that poured into me and taught me a system. Right? You know what I'm saying? That taught me a system, and I was able to implement that. So I was prepared when I transitioned to go out there.
So how has your definition of success evolved over the years?
Being more disciplined, being more patient when it comes to learning new things, but also putting processes and procedures in place. Make sure that I have the right team around me too. That's success to me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, making a profit and all that. But if you don't have those things in place, especially the team, I couldn't do what I'm doing if I didn't have an effective team on my side. I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's my definition of success: having a good team around you.
So tell our audience, exactly what that means when you're an entrepreneur, the importance of establishing a team and building that solid foundation for your business to flourish.
Yeah, definitely, because think about it. Like you mentioned before, small businesses fail very early, and actually the life expectancy of a business of a small business is anywhere between 1 to 5 years. So there's a space there that typically after the 5th year, most businesses don't make it. And because of the lending and me lending to small businesses, when it comes to working capital and all that, those are the major things that I see. I see companies that are not producing the way that they should produce because they don't have a team around them. They're doing everything. They don't have the administrative part in place. They don't have the marketing in place. So they're lacking stuff simply because they're doing everything themselves. I learned early on, my gift is networking and talking and counseling and sitting down with people and listening to what it is that they're trying to do. Then I can't go in front of a computer for 20 hours a day and processing paperwork and getting people approved. And I can't do all that stuff anymore. I did it at one time, but that's not where I'm at in my career now. So I need a team behind me that can make me look good when I'm in front of you, right? So they cover me. I need somebody to cover me to be able to act gracefully, when it comes to my business. So having a team is very, very important for the startup and the beginning company as entrepreneurs. Having an effective team around you, and basically your team should be people who are better than you in certain areas. I know what my weaknesses are, but I know what my strengths are too. So I hire my weaknesses, right, and I let them carry on and be strong in areas where I know where I'm weak at. So I just say, just kind of analyze yourself, kind of know, be true to yourself, be real to yourself, don't lie to yourself, and figure out, where you strong at and where you weak at, and then outsource, your team. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to hire people. You can just outsource. There are virtual assistants out here that you can get, and have somebody actually run your business online, for you. So while you do things, but the main thing, you don't need a big team. So I said that to say that you don't need a huge team. You can get 1 or 2 people that can cover the bases of your company and make sure that it's run fluidly. So you can do as the leader, you can focus on actually creating profit. Because a lot of times when we're wearing so many hats in our businesses, we can't really fully optimize the growth of it because we're what's the word I'm looking for? We're stretched.
Being multi-faceted.
A lot of people see that as a gift, but I don't. I see it as somebody that don't want to let go. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I see
it. So, what would be some suggestions you would have to some of our people that's out in the audience? If they wanted to get into your industry and they wanted to create their own mortgage company.
Oh, that's great. I actually seek out people that are doing, what you want to do, and ask questions and go from there. I'm actually hiring. Actually, I have about 10 brokers on my team right now, and they're kind of like my extended arm because people that I don't have access to. You know what I'm saying? That may need access to money. So you got a contact. So that makes you valuable to me because you have your own network, you have your own book of business. So all I have to do is just train you and empower you with information. And then you go out and sell that. And then we bring the deals in. My office close those deals for you. We pick the lender, we get the underwriting, we get those deals closed, and then the broker gets commission. So I'm actually hiring it. So if anybody wants to get involved in the mortgage industry, I'm also licensed in 50 states. So I'm actually lending in every state as well. I'll be willing to sit down with you and kind of see where you are, and then we can get you started where you can actually be making money in this industry, learning the industry as you're making money, learning the lenders and what they're doing, and then also prepare yourself for entrepreneurship. Because I don't want anybody to come to me and feel like they're stuck with me. We want to empower, make some money, give them the opportunity to grow and learn, and then they can go off and start their own firm if they feel like that's what they want to do.
So, in what ways has adversity sharpened your business acumen?
Okay. When I first started this job, I learned a long time ago that what I do, all I do is problem solve.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I do every day, all day, right? So this industry, this job has taught me how to problem solve, and I use this same technique in life with everything that I do. I don't give up on situations. You know what I'm saying? I tackle every aspect of the situation to see how can we each parties come into place and try to compromise and come to an agreement so we can move on. I'm very loyal to situations. I just don't like to give up on stuff. And this job has taught me that. It's taught me that one day you can have a good day, the next day the bottom falls out because a credit report came back and the score is not where they wanted to be. You know, anything can come up and disrupt what you're trying to get accomplished is get to the closing table. So I've learned that adversity has sharpened my ability to problem solve and to actually slow down and give myself a chance to think about how can we change corners to get something done. So to answer your question, adversity has taught me how to seek out other avenues and ways to get stuff done. Can you hear me? I think we lost him. I think we lost him. I think we lost him. So I'm in the call. I can't end it.